What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going over some basics when it comes to building out your get home bag. We're going to touch on a variety of things, but we're going to be keeping this one as simple as it gets in order to accommodate to people who are just starting out. This could be for someone who's been around for quite a while, but this one is going to be more geared to the guys who are just getting into the whole preparedness world, or maybe you've been in it for a little bit, but you haven't yet decided to start your get home bag, the bag that you keep in your vehicle in order to, get home safely if you were to have to abandon your vehicle, right? Now, when we get started here, uh, we're going to talk about a variety of things. Now, there's a couple different logics or ideals, if you will, when it comes to loading out your get home bag. Some people will say keep it as minimal as you can, only, the very, very basic bare essentials, which I can get along with that idea, especially if that's all that you have. Now, some people will say, well, it's going to be related to the skill set that you have. And yeah, your skill set is going to come into play. You should always be trying to work on your skills, whether it's bushcrafting type skills, batoning and feather sticking and all that sort of thing, or whether it's fire making or cooking or whatever it might be. We should always be trying to, you know, shape those skills and get them better. But off the tangent and back onto the topic, I'm of the mindset where I'm going to pack as much in my backpack as I can fit in it. And when the time comes, if it ever does, hopefully it doesn't, but if the time ever comes that I need this backpack and I have to abandon my vehicle and I have to leave on foot, I can decide at that point in time what I'm going to take with me or what I'm not going to take with me. And if I decide to take the fully loaded backpack, say it's 60, 70 pounds, and if you're going to say try carrying that, for miles and miles, I have my get home bag that I keep in my truck. It's not this one. I have a video up on the channel right now of that, but you can. If you practice doing it, you can carry 60, 70 pounds. Some guys' bags are much heavier than that. Uh, and mine's pretty loaded out. But if you decide to take that bag and go on your journey, you can make a little cache somewhere, mark out where it is, a spot you will remember, and you can ditch a few of the items, make yourself a little cache, and you can ditch a few items that you realize I'm not going to need this. Whatever it might be, if you need to lessen a little bit of the weight. But I would rather it goes that logic I will use until I'm dead. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's as simple as that. So it's going to be situationally dependent on you and where you're at, what time of year, all that sort of thing. How far is it? All that is going to come into play. For anyone to tell you this is what it has to be, this is what it should be. No, they don't know how far, they don't know what conditions. So for someone to tell you this is all you need, this is all you should have with you, no, don't listen to people who are telling you that because it's not correct. So what's the first thing that you're going to need when it comes to setting up your get home bag? You're going to need a bag. Do you need an expensive $100, $200, $300 backpack? No, you don't. You can get a good quality backpack for under $100. You could go with a $30 JanSport if that's all you have. And I would recommend if you don't have anything, but you have an old JanSport or you have an old eSport or whatever backpack it is, an Outdoor Edge from Walmart, get it and start putting some useful gear in it. We're going to cover some of that gear here today, but get a bag, get something that you can put gear in and put in your vehicle that you have that will help you in a variety of situations. So first and foremost, the bag. This bag is from the HP Hope Company. We do have a video coming, or we already did the video on this bag. We have a video coming on a different bag from the HP Hope Company, and it looks stellar. I'll be doing that soon. The weather is getting nicer. We are going to be doing a lot more stuff outside. I have plans to do a lot of different things, but weather permitting and time, permitting, uh, I plan on doing all the things that I want to do. So, first and foremost, after your bag, we look to some of the C's, cutting and cordage and cover. And those are kind of the things I want you to key in on that are going to be important. Do you have to buy all the stuff and have it right away? No, you don't. You can just get the bag. And if you have a flashlight laying around the house, you have an old multi-tool laying around the house, a folding knife. Those types of items can go into that bag and take it with you every time you leave your house, put it in your vehicle, and like me, I bring my bag in once a month or so and go through it, maintain it. But my bag isn't something I bring in and out. I use a sling bag for that type of task where, when I leave my house, I take my sling bag. When I come in, I bring it in. But my get home bag pretty much always stays in the truck and nothing ever gets taken out of the bag unless it is being switched out for something else. I'm not picking and pulling things out of that bag and then I need the bag and I don't have the item. So you don't ever pull from the bag unless it's intentional and you're switching something out unless you need to use it because it's an emergency has arisen, right? But don't just be willy-nilly picking and pulling stuff out of there and then you have no clue as to what's in there, what's not in there. And that's another reason why if you're going to leave it in the vehicle to maintain it once or twice a month or so. Bring it in, go through everything, make sure everything's still charged and sharp and working and all that sort of thing. Maintenance is a huge key when it comes to preparedness and survival. Maintenance and organization. Those are two big things when it comes to the preparedness and survival world, in my opinion. If you are organized and you maintain the stuff that you have for them situations, you are going to be in a way better place than if you aren't organized and you don't maintain your stuff. Those two things are going to be deal breakers. And at the point that you don't do those things, you will be overwhelmed if you continue acquiring and that sort of thing. You will have stuff that doesn't work because it's not charged. You have stuff that doesn't cut because it's not sharp, all that sort of thing. Maintenance and organization are key. So let's go to the first item. And this is going to be the old trusty, tried and true. You need a cutting implement. Here it doesn't, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the latest, the greatest thing. This is the Asher Knives Little Buddy, and all the items I'm showing you here today, I will link down in the description. This is the Asher Knives Little Buddy. It's a fixed blade coming in S90V steel, which is a great, great steel. These come in right around $100. It comes with a nice Kydex sheath and a clip, so all in one package. I have not taken this out of my pocket since I got it. Nice little fixed blade would be absolute money. Another thing that I would highly recommend putting in here, you should always be carrying one with you anyway, but this would be as a backup, so to speak. That way you have it in your bag in case you need it or someone else needs it. You're with somebody else or a group and you can hand this off to somebody else. This is the KUBEY 322 right here. These are on a massive sale right now. I will link that website down below, and I have a coupon code for 37% off. I will have that down below as well. KUBEY has a bunch of their D2 folders on a massive sale, and then you add in that coupon code, they will go below 35 bucks for D2 and G10, a solid build, tried and true build, if you ask me. Multiple ways of deployment, a nice solid size, great blade shape, and they come in a ton of different flavors, and there's a bunch of different models. I'll link it down below, and you can head over there and check it out if you need a new folder, or you need your first folder, or you're just looking to buy a new knife. I will link that down below. Or if you want to try something new, a new opening method, whether it's a flipper tab or you want to try a new blade shape, whatever it is, I'll link them down below. You cannot get a better deal than getting a KUBEY in D2 for 20 to 30 bucks. It is just insane. So, cutting tool, first and foremost, you got to have a cutting tool. Uh, that's going to be the primary thing going into your bag. So I will go ahead and we'll stand up here. And this bag, I think you can routinely get these for about 40 to 50 bucks. And I've been in contact with them a lot, and I have several of their backpacks now, and the one I've been using for quite some time, and they load these things up with varying pockets and different organization. They even have the ability to have a power bank hooked up to them, and then you can run your charging cord right out of the side of the backpack, which is a nice feature. I have a full unboxing and first impressions of this bag, but just an outstanding bag for the price point. It's well made. The zippers work very well. They're not YKK zippers, but they are very well done and very durable. So far, very, very good quality. And if you didn't hear, it's the HP Hope Company. There is, well, will it pull it up? Maybe. HP Hope Company. You can look them up right on Amazon, or I'll link it down below. That is going to be the backpack for this video. The next thing that I think everyone should have, and this is a cheap way tent. Guys will say this or that, but the simple fact is, if you are just starting out, you're trying to be as uh, cost effective as possible. Nothing is going to beat a tarp, because you can get a good tarp for not a ton of money. So a tarp is going to be absolute money. I keep a couple of these in my truck. I keep one in my bag, and then I also have extras around, because if you double up a tarp, that's a lot of protection. and that's also going to, keep you warm or keep the elements off of you. Going to be a game changer. And if you have a couple, you can lay one on the ground and have one or two over top of you. So having a couple of these is not a bad idea. Now, of course, you're going to want cordage, paracord of some sort. Paracord isn't something I don't think I brought out for this one, but paracord and some tent stakes, and you have yourself a nice little shelter. And the other good thing about tarps is if you're using a backpack, typically they have like a laptop spot or something of that nature. These will slide perfectly into those spots, and it's usually in the back. So you will have that along with your padding of your backpack. So it's going to be even more padded in a sense with that tarp there. So that's, keeping those things in mind. If you're going to be carrying this on your back for an extended period of time, you're going to want comfortable shoulder straps, and you're going to want something that's semi-comfortable on your back if you can help it, right? Uh, and that's the thing about this bag that I really love. My Maxpedition bag doesn't have a ton of compartments. It's only got a few compartments, one big compartment, and that's where everything is. And I like that about it, but I also like this a little better. Something that has even more options. And this bag doesn't cost, a quarter of what that Maxpedition bag did. And I like this more, I think. And I might end up someday, if this continues to hold up, I will end up switching to a bag like this. Now I'll show the other one. This is the new one that just came in, and we're going to have a video up on this very soon as well. A little bit different of a style, but still very well made with lots of pockets, lots of organization. And that goes back to the organization factor. Organization is a huge, huge deal. I can't stress that enough. If you're just getting into things, keep notes, keep lists. It is going to make your life a whole lot better. So we have cutting, we have coverage, and we have our bag. Okay. So those are going to be some very important items. Now, some people would say, why do you need cover if you're trying to get home that same day, right? Well, that's the thing. Like I said earlier, we don't know how far away we're going to be. And if you ask me, I would rather have that tarp that weighs absolutely nothing. I would rather have that and not need it the whole way home than make it 3/4 of the way and can't go anymore, or whatever. I would rather have that tarp, you know, and not need it than need it and not have it. That's just the way I am. Some guys will tell you otherwise. There's going to be a lot of varying opinions when it comes to this stuff, and that's okay. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Everyone's skill set is going to be different. The scenario that happens to you is going to be different than the next guy. So it's something you have to be aware of and something you have to keep in mind. And that's why with what I do, I try to cover as many things as I can and keep those things in my vehicle, in my bag. And then that way you can decide if that time ever comes, what to take with you, what to lock in your vehicle. Now, you might not have time. Maybe you only got time to grab your bag and get the hell out of there, right? That is an argument some people will make. Well, then you take the second option, which is take your bag, get the hell out of there. And if things get too heavy along your travels, you make that cash. You make a little spot, bury it next to a tree or whatever the hell. I always keep an extra backpack in my truck in case of needing to take other gear, or I load up the person who might be with me and I give them a loadout because I have enough stuff in my vehicle to do something like that or to kind of split the load. So it's not a bad idea if you get to that point to have an extra backpack kind of rolled up, and put in the trunk or, under the seat or whatever. And I also keep a wet dry bag in there that I can almost fit every single item that is in my backpack in that wet dry bag. That's another, pack or bag that you can keep with you. And I think the wet dry bag is a piece of gear that is an absolute must have. Uh, and it wasn't something I considered until very recently. Now, the next thing is going to be some sort of water filtration. I don't care if it's a Life Straw, a Grail water bottle, if it's whatever it is, have some sort of water filtration. I ended up going with Life Straw for a lot of things. I have the bottle here with the Life Straw refill in there. You pour the water in here and it cleans it. And then I keep an extra filter. That is a ton of drinking water right there. This is a bag, if you're wondering, that I'm currently loading up to possibly become my new get home bag. I don't know if it'll replace my Maxpedition or not, but I'm thinking about trying it out and trying it on for size. The next thing is going to be your cords, charging cords, and that sort of thing. You're going to want to have for your flashlights, your phone, whatever it might be, the cords according to the items you're putting in here or the items you're carrying on you. If you have a USB-C flashlight, you're going to want to keep a USB-C charger in here. Okay. Now, that also goes along with you're going to want a battery bank, preferably from a reputable company like Anchor. You're going to get a lot of power. You're going to get a lot of life and quality out of the Anchor battery bank. So, cutting, we have the bag, cutting, we have coverage, we have clean drinking water, we have the cords to maintain our electronic gear. We have a battery backup, and that's going to take us into the next piece of gear. Some sort of lighting instrument, a flashlight, whatever it is, some sort of flashlight or headlight, right? I also have a nice little headlight here from Sofrin, which I will link down below. Not only is this a headlamp, but you can take the light off and use it as a flashlight all on its own. Now, it will have the right angle on it, but in some cases, that is better holding it like this than like this. So I have found that over the last couple weeks of having this headlight that holding the light like this is almost better than having to hold it like this. It is better, to be honest. We're just used to holding them like this or like this. In the case of a right angle, you can just hold it straight up in your hand and you have the same exact thing, but it's right angled. So, and then this is a top switch. And these are very nice, guys. There's the turbo. These Sofrin flashlights, these headlamps are a game changer. And like I said, this will come off of here. It's padded. very nicely. The straps are real nice. It's a tri-strap. So something like that. And these are going to be USB-C rechargeable. So that is a game changer. That is what I try to aim for. I try to aim for everything either being external battery, meaning AAA, AA, or I try to aim for everything being a USB-C. That way my phone, my flashlight, and typically I've been keeping my Blackbeard arc lighter. I've been keeping that with me as well, which also runs off of a USB-C charge. A full charge is 300 lights, which is insane. And anything that comes into contact with that X arch that I have tried, especially Tinder, it ignites. That X arch or those arches are game changers, especially if you get a high quality one. They are very, very nice. And the Blackbeard one is by far the nicest one that I have had yet. I've had a couple no name brand ones that were okay. This thing is an absolute game changer. And like I said, the more that we switch over to these types of devices, I'm a huge fan of AA, AAA, and those types of flashlights. Those are typically what I use outside of my home. I like to use rechargeable things around the house because this is where, my power is. But I've been almost switching some things over to go outside and be rechargeable because with the technology now, you have battery banks that you can use that hold a ton of power. You have solar recharging panels or even solar rechargeable battery banks, which I have one in my truck that I've been testing out and using to see how that works. Uh, but if you can use one battery bank and you have one cable, and that is going to charge your phone, your flashlight, your lighter, and whatever else you can come up with that also runs off a USB-C. You can give each thing a little bit of power from this or decide what needs the power. What's most important. Is it getting dark and your light? You can designate your phone and your flashlight and give the lighter a little bit of a charge or whatever. But you have that ability to be able to take care of everything. That's a big deal. Uh, and that's one thing I've been kind of switching over to. Now, nothing will ever fully replace, some of the AA flashlights and AAA flashlights that I have because you'll always be able to, find those types of batteries and get them in your device. This was basically just me trying to welcome the newcomers who are trying to get their get home bag started. We're going to continue this series and continue building this bug out bag or this get home bag out, building this get home bag out. And at the end of it, we will have everything done. Probably a couple videos, but for all the new people that are just starting out, keep at it. Don't quit and just take one step at a time, one piece of gear at a time. Nobody starts out with everything they need. Most people aren't even close to having everything they need. So keep that in mind. Don't feel or get overwhelmed. Just keep picking at it. Keep at it every day. Eventually, it'll become your way of life and it will become second nature to you. So keep at it. Hopefully, this helps somebody out there. You don't need a ton of Gucci gear. You don't need a ton of premium gear. Get yourself some of the basics and bare essentials. Get what you can get to start, and then you keep adding and replacing as you go. Like I said, we will be doing a follow-up video kitting this bag out, and we will keep going with it until we have it fully loaded out, and then we'll do a final video on the final loadout. That'll be fun. Give me a thumbs up, guys. If you are still here and you are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below the video. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.